guys, I'm Aveline and welcome to my channel. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So today I am back with another renovation for you guys, and we're giving Club Calico in Brindleton Bay a gigantic makeover. This is a bit of a drastic one. I'm just telling you guys, like, a little bit of a warning, heads up. It's quite a drastic makeover. You guys did mention on the Discord server before I did last week's renovation that you thought Club Calico was one of the ones that definitely needed a tender loving hand or some TLC. So I asked you guys in the video last week as well if you were okay with me going for that one, and it sounded like you were, or it seemed like you were, so I decided to just go for it and seriously attack this build because I was not a big fan of it before. I gotta admit, it was a little bit weird. There was a lot of stuff going on with the shape of the house and this long, narrow, I don't even know what that is, on the left side as well, and there were some walls that weren't lining up as well, and it was just kind of, there's a lot going on there that I really wanted to fix and adjust and everything, so I just decided to attack it basically. So we're doing quite a drastic renovation today, but hopefully you guys will like it anyways. So I ended up actually changing this from a lounge to a restaurant, and hear me out because this is for my save file, and I don't plan on building any restaurants from scratch. If maybe like a diner or something like that, but I don't plan on building like an actual restaurant from scratch. So I wanted to basically, I thought this build, when I saw it from the outside, it kind of reminded me of like a seaside restaurant where they could go and have some fancy fish or something. So I wanted to turn the build into kind of a restaurant like that a little bit. So that is what we're doing today. I know lounges, I mean, I personally have never really used a lounge in the game. I don't really know what they're for. Aren't they basically like bars, but a bit more quiet, a bit more for old people? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. So I just decided to go for it. Like, I don't even know if I've seen a lounge in real life before. So I decided to just change it to a restaurant. Hopefully you guys are okay with that as well, because I do really like how this turned out, and I also play tested it just a little bit to make sure that everything was working smoothly. There are some issues with the tables over on the left side later on that you'll see. You may have to delete those because the waiter has to walk a very a long distance to get to those tables. But other than that, everything should be working fine. I did change one of the doors to an archway, so it was easier for the customers to go through it rather than having to wait for one person to go through the door and then wait for the next one, because they always come in pairs at least. So that wasn't working out very well, so I changed it to an archway. But other than that, everything else should be working fine. There are 2 bars in here as well, but if you own the restaurant yourself, you can't actually hire a mixologist as far as I'm aware, because I did try to and it wasn't showing up in the menu. But if you only visit this place, you will be getting a mixologist. There will be a mixologist that shows up here, so you can have drinks for free or buy drinks. Don't steal them. No drinks for free. Remember to buy them. So I did end up keeping this little lounge area down here in the corner of the build. I don't know what this kind of extra house is called, but it's very cute. But yeah, I thought the lounge area was quite nice, so I decided to keep it. But I did swap out the couches on the inside of this little house. I just swapped them out with some that fit the whole color scheme of the build a little bit better, because I decided to go for a lot of white and blue for the overall build, both on the exterior, but also, well, mostly white for the exterior actually, but mainly like white and blue for the interior, maybe just a little bit of beige here and there. But I thought it would be nice because it both fits the exterior of the build, but I also feel like blue and white, like very light blue and white, fits Brindleton Bay very nicely as well, and this kind of build as well. And the blue color also reminds me a little bit of, you know, the sea, and it is a seafood restaurant now, so I thought it would be fitting to go for those colors. I ended up having to change this long narrow hall, no, that's not what it's called, I don't know what that path, whatever, with the weird roofing as well over there on the right side right now. I had to change it several times during this build, so I'm sorry if I keep going back, but every time I did the slightest thing, the whole, like, the half walls over there would lose the wallpaper, and I had to go back. And also the roofing thing, I had to change that several times as well because it wasn't really lining up with the build itself, and Then I expanded the build as well 2 squares, and then I had to go back and change it again. So I do keep going back over there quite a lot, and I'm sorry about that, but it was just messing up a little bit now and then, but hopefully it's okay anyways. So I decided to go for these open windows. I don't fully know what those are called. Well, I don't know at all what those are called, but they're in the window catalog, or in the window category in the build by catalog, so I suppose we'll just call them windowless windows or something, open windows, I don't freaking know. But I decided to go for those. They're from Cats and Dogs as well. It's not often that I get to use them because they don't fit into like regular suburban houses, for example. They're a little bit difficult to fit into Tudor houses as well, so it's not often that you get to use them, but I thought they would fit the build itself perfectly because you can sit out there in this little open area in the build at the same time, like during the summer maybe, and you can feel the breeze while you're having dinner with your family, or you know, you're sitting there eating your fish and you can smell the sea or something else. I just thought it would be nice, so I decided to go for those for the back of the build. You can't see them right now, but hopefully you saw them just before. The turret isn't actually accessible. I just want to point that out. If I had to make it accessible, I would have had to put the staircase leading to the turret in the middle of this long narrow hallway right there. So I decided not to make it accessible. I hope that's okay. I just really felt like the build needed something from the outside. Like, it just kind of looked really bland to me. It was just kind of flat and blue at the time. I think no, actually it was white and had blue windows. I don't know, it just really needed something, so I decided to add a turret. I really like adding turrets to my houses. So I thought it would fit in here as well, and I personally think it looks cute, so hopefully you guys will like it too. But I did consider for a moment to put the bathroom in there, but decided not to, or the restroom I should probably call it, but I decided not to because it was just the placement of the staircases was just a little too weird for me, so it's not accessible unfortunately, but it looks nice. So playtesting this house or this build actually kind of made me want to try out Restaurants a little bit more, like gameplay wise. I don't know, it was just kind of fun for a second, building it up from scratch yourself. I don't know, it was just, because I never really got to do that. I have had a store in game, so I've been playing around with Get to Work, but I never really had a restaurant, so I kind of want to try that out at some point. I am planning on starting an LP next week, so if you're interested in that, definitely come check that out. I'm not going to tell you exactly what LP it is, but it's a challenge, and I've been wanting to do it since forever, so I'm really looking forward to doing that. And other than that, I have a starter house coming up tomorrow that I've already built. It's in Oasis Springs, and it's mid-century modern. And it's a starter house, but I think it's cute at the same time. I played around with colors a little bit on the exterior, so hopefully you guys will like that too. It's a little bit funky. And then I also actually already have Saturday's build ready for you guys as well, so hopefully you guys will like that one. I have shown it on the Discord server, but I will not give away what it is. But I think it turned out nice as well, so hopefully you guys will like that one as well. And other than that, I'm actually spending this week preparing a lot of videos. I'm on a recording spree and I'm enjoying it, not because I am going away or anything, but just because I am so freaking motivated these days and inspired. So I'd rather like do something about it than sit around and wait for, you know, the day that I have to release the video, you know what I mean? So I am just on a recording spree and fully enjoying it. It's a lot of fun, so hopefully you guys will see some content that you will like within the next couple of days. I'm also planning on doing an apartment for Sunday, so that's gonna be a lot of fun too. I think it's the last apartment that I need, or the second last apartment that I need for my save file as well, so it's gonna be good to get that over with. That sounds like I'm gonna rush through it, but I'm really not. I'm gonna sit there and be very particular about everything. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to kind of actually having the apartments done. You know, it's always nice when you kind of feel like you've finished something properly, so we can get started on the penthouses as well, because those have been requested quite a lot, so definitely need to get started on those too. But as always, if you do have any suggestions for anything you want to see here on the channel, do let me know. I am also doing cast videos, so for those of you that watch those, they will also be coming up, so don't worry about that. But yeah, do let me know if you got any suggestions, and also let me know what lot you want me to renovate next week. I think I'm just gonna go with the ones that you guys suggest, so well, depending on whether or not I have actually deleted it from my save file because I may have done that with some of them. Like the museum here in Brindleton Bay isn't here anymore, and also the vet clinic is not here anymore. I have swapped out some other places with some cafes and restaurants as well, so not everything is gonna be there, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what I've done until the save file is completely done. So, or until I show you when the save file is completely done. So yeah, you can just let me know what kind of lot you want me to, or what lot specifically you want me to renovate next week, and I'll have a look at it. It's actually a lot of fun to do, but I do feel like some of the ones in, for example, Oasis Springs are going to be really freaking terrible to renovate. They kind of scare me a little bit because they look so kind of futuristic. And I'm like, I feel like I should almost just build new ones because they look so weird. I don't think I can save them unless I turn them into something completely different maybe, but I don't know. In my mind they look kind of strange, or to me they look kind of strange. So I don't really know what to do about those, but do let me know. I think it was mentioned on the Discord server, or someone suggested on the Discord server, that maybe I could renovate the bar in the jungle. I still can't pronounce that name, so I'm just gonna go with the jungle. El Silva Dorada? I don't fully know. So yeah, let me know if you want to see that one, or if there's anything else you want to see, also do let me know. But anyways, for the interior, I was trying to fit in these booths because I don't recall ever using those booths, and I was super excited to use them. Then they didn't line up with the windows, then I scrapped that idea and we're just going for some tables instead. But they're kind of like 6-man tables, so you're gonna have to visit this place with a family to sit at those places or those tables instead. But I suppose sometimes you do see, when you are at restaurants, you do see, in the game by the way, you do see sometimes a family goes to the restaurant to eat together, so that's kind of cute, and they can sit over there at those tables. Hopefully they work fine. I actually only saw like couples and some loners as well come visit this restaurant when I was playtesting it, so I haven't seen anyone sit at those tables, but they should be working fine. I don't see why they wouldn't. But yeah, now I gotta find another kind of build that I could do with the booths. Maybe I can put them in an apartment at some point. That would be kind of fun, but I haven't used them before, so I definitely want to use them at some point because we've had them for like freaking ages, and it kind of sucks that I haven't used them ever. But it's just one of those things, and it annoys me a little bit because I think they look cute and they kind of remind me of an American diner or something like that. But they kind of remind me of Riverdale a little bit too. But I really want to use them at some point, just not in this build apparently. I decided to go for 2 cook stations. Is that what it's called? Food stations, maybe that's what they're called, in the kitchen here. I don't know if it's possible to at some point hire 2 chefs, but it looks really nice that there are 2, so I went with 2 anyways. If you can't hire 2 chefs, your chef will just use just one of them, so don't worry about that. Or maybe he'll use both. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he'll set the whole place on fire with the other one. I got a terrible chef when I was playtesting this place, so actually I think, now that I mention it, in the last renovation, wasn't it Baco who was the masseuse and he showed up in his normal outfit? Baco was also the chef when I playtested this as a visitor, not the owner. So Baco is apparently, he's a do-it-all man. He can do anything. He works everywhere apparently, but he was in his chef outfit, so that's something at least. But he wasn't actually the bad chef because he was the chef when I was visiting this place as a visitor, but I thought it was funny to see him in the kitchen though. But the chef that I had when I was playtesting this place as an owner sucked, and he kept getting complaints about food quality, and it was bad. So definitely, if you it wasn't the kitchen's fault though, it was the chef's fault. So I just want to say that, like, it's not the kitchen that I made. It works fine, but do make sure to hire a proper chef if you want this place to work, because otherwise you're gonna keep getting complaints about it. So the first room you enter when you get to this restaurant is this room, and it is quite big and open. I did try a little bit to separate these tables from each other at some point, but it really wasn't, I didn't like how it looked. It just kind of looked a little bit weird and out of place, you know, with wall dividers and all that stuff, so I decided to just keep it open. It also looks really nice with the skylight I added. I added some glass roofing that you probably saw earlier on because I just thought it would add more light into this build, and I like glass roofs. It's not often that I actually get to use them, so it's nice when you kind of have an idea, you know. So yeah, it's very open in here. Hopefully that host station will work. It wasn't actually working Well, it was working, that's the thing. It was working, but when I got here as a visitor, there was no host, and it was really strange. Like, why would there not be a host? I don't know. But there was a host when I owned this restaurant myself, so it works. I just don't know why it wasn't doing that to start out with, but it's fine now. I think I fixed it if there was anything to fix. But yeah, I added some clutter on the tables as well. These little things, I think they are salt and pepper shakers, and then you also got some paper there as well. And I ended up adding some candles too on the tables, if I'm not mistaken, along with some of the flowers from the seasons that I keep using, the ones you can put on the tables. They just look really, really nice, like a centerpiece. So I use those over and over again. But I think they fit this build pretty nice as well. It looks really nice in my opinion. Also, the table under the chef station over here, they're from Dine Out, by the way. I need to get better at saying where everything is from, because sometimes I forget like where they're from, the items that I use, but most of the time I actually remember and I just forget to tell you guys, but I know that it helps a little bit. But I'm using a lot of stuff from Dine Out throughout this build, and also from Cats and Dogs. Obviously those rugs are from Seasons, and other than that I think a lot of it is, yeah, most of it is just from Cats and Dogs or Dine Out, so just keep that in mind. But I decided to just clutter up those tables under the chef station like crazy, and in here I really wanted a bar. I know it's basically just for decor if you own this place, but if you are visiting as a visitor, you can be lucky and there'll be a mixologist. It's a little weird with mixologists in restaurants because you can't, as far as I know, you can't hire them, and I'm not entirely sure that they're actually supposed to be there. Like, they're not hired by the restaurant. If you visit this place as a visitor, they're not supposed to be working for the restaurant, if that makes any sense. So they're just kind of there because you placed a bar. There'll only be one, even though there is a bar outside as well, there'll only be one mixologist, so it's a little bit like 50-50. Will they be inside or will they be outside? But I did put down some seating places outside as well later on, so you'll see that too, and they can sit over there and drink their drinks if they want to, or maybe in the little lounge area that I was talking about before in the extra house in the corner. Maybe they can sit there and have their drinks. So I did decide to add a fish tank over here, and I framed it up with the hallway tables from, I think they're called hallway tables, from Dine Out, I think, the marble ones. So I put 2 of those down, and then I raised the fish tank up so it kind of looks like it's resting on them, and then I took 2 more hallway tables and raised them up above, so it kind of looks like it's like framed in over there. But I decided to go with that fish tank because a lot of seafood restaurants that I've been to have had a fish tank where they keep like lobsters and stuff. Just throwing it out there, I don't like the whole lobster thing. It's like I just don't like how that's handled at all, and I get that it's like a delicacy, yeah, but I just don't like how that's handled one bit. But I did think it would fit the whole like seafood restaurant theme that we're going for, so I decided to give them a fish tank anyways. But they can't eat the fish, they're just for or just for like pets or viewing or whatever. So yeah, it did look nice with the little fish tank over there. It's not actually little, it's quite a big fish tank, but still, I think it's from Dine Out too, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, we're just adding some more clutter to these tables. I added some fairy lights as well because they look super cute and are very romantic in my opinion. And sometimes I also checked the view outside because it looked really nice. You can see over, there's like this kind of hill on an island sort of, and there's a lot of trees on it, and it's very cute. You can see over the water as well, so it's got a very nice view from that area of the build. And in here I got the bathrooms, or the restrooms. It's a very small little room here, and I did frame off, or not frame off, but I did add 2 kind of like toilet stalls because we don't really have those, so I made 2 rooms for the toilets. I'm pretty sure I've done this before somewhere, if I'm not mistaken, in a bar maybe? Yeah, because I built a bar for Brindleton Bay a very long time ago where I did the same thing. You just frame it off with the wall and then you add a door and you pretend like it's a toilet stall, but it's not really. I do realize that 2 toilets for a lot this big is probably not a whole lot, but when I went here on my sim, my playtester sim, everything was fine. Like, no one actually went to the bathroom, so it was empty all the time, so I think it's gonna be okay. I mean, unless your sims start getting food poisoning poisoning or something, but you can also just hurry home. I mean, it's gonna be fine, don't worry about it. So yeah, I just cluttered it up a little bit in there as well, and then I added some more fairy lights to the exterior because fairy lights are so cute and adorable and I love them and I want them everywhere. And other than that, this is a little like a little lounge area. Actually, I decided to put those chairs over there that you saw earlier on in the build, but I also added some bookcases because I figured that would be nice, and then I added a love seat here as well so they can sit here and chill after they've had their dinner, or just sit there and talk or have a drink or something else. So just a little bit of a lounge area here, just like cozy. Maybe they can sit here with a cup of coffee. We can pretend like they're sitting here with a cup of coffee or something. I did actually fix the menu for this place, but like you can change it just as you please, of course. So if you want this to be a steakhouse, change it to that. If you want it to be a vegetarian restaurant, you can do that as well. Like fix all the things you want to fix, it's completely fine. I didn't touch I think the uniforms, other standard ones, because I don't know about that one. So yeah, that you may have to change yourself, but it's just the kind of like nicer uniforms, standard ones, so it's not like anything special. They don't look like they work in a diner or something else. So all of that should be fixed beforehand if you do decide to download this renovation. I think it carries over, if I'm not mistaken, like the menu and everything will be downloaded along with the build, if I'm not mistaken, because I feel like I have downloaded other people's restaurants before where it worked like that, so I hope it works like that, crossing my fingers. If not, like, do whatever you want with this build, it's completely fine. And here we got the lounge area that I was talking about before, or earlier on in this build, very early on in this build actually. And it's just a very cozy little lounge area. I put some fairy lights in here, again, because it's very romantic, and I used those couches. I think they're from Perfect Patio. I do use the chair version of these quite a lot. I change them into lounge chairs with the puff from City Living. I think that looks really nice. And yeah, I do use those quite a lot. Perfect Patio is actually one of my most used. Also backyard stuff, I think, but mostly Perfect Patio is actually one of my most used stuff packs, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just a little bit surprising because I feel like it's kind of underrated a little bit, but I use it quite a lot. But it's a very nice little cozy area in there, in that little extra house over there. I didn't touch the landscaping too much of this build. I just added a little bit to it, so it looks like itself. I actually liked the row of trees over here. I thought it looked really nice on this community lot, so I decided to just keep them, and then I added some more bushes and also some flowers here and there. I decided to just completely get rid of the pool because I figured a pool in a restaurant would be a little bit weird. I mean, would you go swimming after you've eaten, or would you go swimming beforehand and then be totally wet when you're sitting there eating with your family? It didn't really work in with the plans or work together with the plans, so I decided to just get rid of it altogether, and I added the fountain instead because I figured it would be nice to sit in the open room and look over the fountains as well. So maybe a little bit noisy, but you can just remove some of the water jets in case it's a little bit noisy. I kept the bar area over there, but I did decide to change it to a base game one instead. So it looks very nice over there. I think it's the same bar that I'm using on the inside. And then here I'm adding a little bit of a seating area. Now the lanterns are from Seasons, and they actually used to really annoy me because you can't change the color of the pillar. You can only change the color of the lanterns, and the pillar is like a brown. It didn't work in with this build at all, so I decided to just choose the get together pillars and put them on top, and it works nice. Like, now you can change the color of the pillar. I don't know why I didn't think about that before, because it's been bothering me on several occasions, but I guess I'm gonna have to remember that from now on, that you can just put those on top and it works out fine. So they have this little area here, and I put some flowers around as well and put some decor on the tables too, so it looks really nice and open, and hopefully it still works during rain or something. I'm not entirely sure about, you know, weather conditions in the game because I haven't actually played it a whole lot since Seasons came out, so a lot of the weather stuff I'm not 100% sure on, so sorry about that, but hopefully nothing will happen to the tables over there. But anyways guys, we are getting to the end of this video, so I'm gonna wrap up this voiceover now. I hope you like this build. You can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. Like I said before, do let me know in the comment section down below what build you want me to renovate next week, and I will choose the one that's been mentioned the most or liked the most. We'll see. And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, so tune back in next week. Hopefully you guys will like it. Hopefully you guys like this one. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Asleep in between, on my way to the round of the living. Seek your eyes right here beside. Would you come with me? Sun's rising and we go. There's a way, come today, let a heavy mind face the open.